Hey, what's going on, beautiful jellyfish? It's Tracy, and today I wanted to do a video talking all about sealed. I have an entire playlist just called Tips. It's kind of like random. There's some like EDH stuff, there's some modern stuff, there's some limited stuff or whatever, but I thought I kind of just wanted to do a video specifically focusing on sealed because I just played the Throne of Eldraine pre-release, and it's the second pre-release that I've gone 3-0 or 4-0 or whatever. I've just been like doing really well, and I kind of wanted to just like do this video on like tips of like ways to like improve your deck. So the first tip that I wanted to say, and this is not like so much as like a tip, but just kind of like something to like keep in your head so you don't get on tilt, is honestly, it's sealed, and there are times that you're just gonna get a bad pool, and it has no reflection of you as a Magic player and how good you are as a Magic player, anything like that. It's kind of just about like working with what you have, and sometimes you're just gonna get like bad cards and you're not gonna do well, and it's just gonna happen. Versus other formats, it's so much more easy, I think. I want to say like do well, because you're kind of controlling like what cards are in your deck, but variance is like totally a thing, and I think variance absolutely applies to your sealed pool, and it's sometimes just not going to be good. So that's just like something to keep in the back of your head. The second tip that I wanted to say is I would definitely reach out and ask for help with your deck if you need it, because this is something that I always like to do. I always like think it's really important to have another set of eyes. I think some people get in this mindset of like, it's my deck, I don't want anyone touching it, I don't want anyone seeing what I'm doing, I can do it kind of thing. And it honestly like doesn't matter like how good of a Magic player you are, like there's gonna be things that you miss, and I think having someone else take a look at your deck is definitely a really good idea. I did this. I got a lot of help at my what was before Throne of Eldraine. I don't remember what pre-release that was, but it wasn't War of the Spark. It was whatever was before War of the Spark. I got a lot of help from my friend Kevin, and he like looked at my deck and like looked at my pool because I didn't know at all what I was doing, and I felt like this time going into Throne of Eldraine, I knew I was a lot more confident in my deck building, and I knew a lot more about what I was doing, and I think asking for help really like helped me get there with my deck building. So I think like that's something that's really important among these other tips that I definitely have been doing that have really been helped me build my sealed pool. So definitely get another set of eyes. I don't think that it can hurt. The next thing that I wanted to say is this is how I do a deck building, and this is what really works for me. Something might work differently for everyone, but what I do is I first sort all of my piles into colors, which is a really standard thing to do because it really helps me. Because sometimes your pile, you're like, wow, I only opened like 5 green cards, guess I'm not going green, like, and all my cards are not great. Like, it's so easy to like eliminate them because I think visually seeing like, wow, I don't really have a lot of this card. And then after I do that, what I do is I look through each of my stacks individually once I sort through all my colors, and I say, okay, let's take these red cards. I say, out of my 20 red cards, how many are bombs, removal, playable? And I take those cards and I put them towards the front of the stack, and then I look at them and I say, okay, I noticed out of 20 cards, I only have 3 playable cards. Yikes, the rest of my red's not good. Maybe red's not the color that I'm going to go for. And then I look at all of my colors and I do all of those things. This is really helpful for a lot of reasons. First off, it's helpful to sort into colors that you can again visually see. It's really helpful as well because then you can see your multicolored cards, because a lot of times in my experience of seeing multicolored cards, they're some of the strongest in the set, and a lot of times they will help you determine your colors. If you keep all your multicolored cards together, you can easily look at them and say, oh, I have a blue-black card. Let me look at all of my blue and black cards and see if it's worth it to play blue and black because my multicolored card is showing this. So that's kind of what I do. And then I determine like what's good, what's playable. Removal is really important for me. Removal and bombs are basically the big factors for me that really set me into deciding what exactly do I want to play. And a lot of times, like at this pre-release, I had a lot of removal in red, for example. So I was like, cool, I'm going red because my red was strong in other areas, but also had a lot of removal. So things like that kind of really determined like why I wanted to do certain things. Are we on the third thing? Are we on the fourth thing? I don't remember. But the next thing is to count your mana symbols. This is going to help you determine how many lands you need. A lot of times people, I feel like, really struggle with like having enough of the basic lands. So what I always like to do once I have my deck out is I lay my entire deck out and I count every single mana symbol. This also applies to cards that have effects that say things in the actual card. For example, pay 1, say the card is like 3 mana, and then it's 2 and 1 white, and then the text is like 1 white, tap target creature, or something like that. I count that 1 white symbol because I know I need that 1 white symbol in there. I count that as 2. 1 for the cost and then 1 for the actual effect of the card. That's really important. And then what I do is I write them down on my notepad, like on my I have like a little notebook that I have that has like, I keep track of my life totals and stuff. And I write down, okay, I have 17 red symbols. I have 12 green symbols. Okay, I have a total 17 lands is my sweet spot. That's like where I usually like to what I usually like to do with my land count. And then I figure, okay, I always do the halfway mark between, okay, well, 17 is an odd number, so that really doesn't work. So the halfway mark is either 8 to 9 per, but I have less red, so I definitely need less red lands. So then I knock that number down. And that's kind of how I do my mana base, and it really, really helps me to write it down and to see, oh, wow, I'm noticing. Another thing that's really important too with this is to notice how many like triple red symbols you have or something like that. I think that's really important because you might have like triple of some symbols and that might really impact. You're like, wow, I notice I'm not running as many red symbols, but like I have this card that's 3 red and I want to make sure I can cast that card when I need to. Okay, the last tip that I wanted to say in this video is most sets support 2 colors, and a lot of people get really greedy and they really want to jam 3 colors and they really want to do all these wild crazy things, but the reality is most sets don't have a lot of fixing, and they're leaning more towards playing 2 colors and really try to stick to that. Splashing for a third is insanely greedy and it might pay off. It also might do the opposite. So I would recommend, if you don't have a lot of fixing, especially in sealed, because you have no idea what you're going to get and you might not get a single color of fixing, try to go for whatever the set is like. If it's a set that's like supporting like 3 colors, like the set that has like the tri-lands or things like that, that's a little bit different. But again, in sealed, you have no idea what kind of things you're gonna get. I don't remember what set it was, but the set that had all of like the gain life lands or whatever in the packs, like that's a set that I would be like, wow, you could pretty easily go 3 colors if you got a lot more of those. Or let me say, splash for a third, because I think some people are like, I'm splashing for a third, and they've got like 5 cards. You're not splashing if you're playing 5 cards in an opposite color. Splashing is like 1 card. Like, let's be completely honest. I think people like really don't understand like what that means. It's like, no, like your deck is mainly like white, black, and you have like 1 blue card. Like that's what splashing means. And that could potentially be a lot of greedy. And that's another thing that I said about counting those mana symbols. If you are splashing for a third and you have like 7 cards that are really heavy on like triple black or triple white, something like that, like that's gonna impact your mana base and you might not be able to cast your stuff. So just be really mindful of like making sure you have enough lands to support the cards that you want to cast. Alright guys, those are just 5 tips. I wanted to limit it to 5 because I think that's like, keep this kind of short and sweet. All my videos have been kind of falling in like the under 10 minutes or a little bit over 10 minutes range, which I think is pretty good for most people. But I really hope you guys like this video and I hope that these tips were helpful. I will definitely be doing more sealed videos because there's definitely more that I want to say that I couldn't just fit into this video. So thank you so much for hanging out with me and I will see you guys in my next video.